So we're doing our weekly planning session. Tom and I are sitting down together and beginning to look at our weekly plan. It's a Monday morning. And the first thing that I was bringing to Tom's attention is, I've got a sort of a take on what my plan, what my Monday looks like. I started just throwing things on. But the first thing that I'm noticing, and I don't know if you've caught this yet, Tom, and that is I still have last week's completed items sitting here off to the right-hand side.
Yeah.
So that's not uncommon, right? I just leave them there. And that's kind of my way as I look back at the week. It's a way of keeping track of, did I get that stuff done? Is that what did I get that first draft of the Christmas letter written? Yes, I did. Oh, that's good. I paid the Chase bill. Great. So it's another nice reminder of to done items, and you can either save them if you really feel this is necessary, and you can put them in a folder and date them, like things I did the week of the December 7th, or I tend to just pitch them, right? So they just go into the recycle bin. But that's my first thing that I do, and that clears off.
Bin. I'm going to be right back.
Oh, you have to go get your recycle bin. Okay. But that's a good way to get started on your weekly planning. Clear off your sheet.
I have like a week's worth of stuff that I did probably 2 weeks ago now. So
yeah, and Tom has an interesting.
It reminds you what you did when you last bothered to check in.
Right. And Tom was actually ill a bit for a few days last week, so he has this additional situation. Yeah, so he's catching up. So this could be a planning session that would take into account what it was like if you were away for a week, right? Or you're in Tom's case out sick for a week. So yeah, so now we need to catch up. How do we do that? So let's take a look at your sheet, Tom, because yours is probably looking rather interesting.
Well, mine had this was from however long ago this was.
Yeah. Okay.
A bunch
great.
Of stuff that I got done.
Mm-hmm.
That as I read through it, I don't really need to keep it.
Nice. And it's a good reminder. So there again, you've been away for a week, and now you're looking at things that were done, 2 weeks ago. And it's a really great reminder of where did you leave things? What needs to get done next?
I realize I want to find my backlog sheet or even just an empty sheet. So that if there's something like I'm inspired by, I can stick it on it as a.
Yes. So for both of us, I know I tend to, as I write new tasks, even if I'm during the middle of the week, I'll either put them on my backlog, or if I know I'm going to be doing that next Tuesday or next Monday, I'll start pre-filling my Monday sheet, and it'll just be really unorganized like mine right now. It's just that they're all over the place. They're not really in my correct left to right, top to bottom order, but I'll just start throwing them on the sheet. So when I do my weekly planning and I look at my Monday, I say, oh yes, here's the things that I was going to do. And now where do they fit? So
I don't know
Tom
what
may have a
happened
little
this
of that.
week when I was doing it, but it's clearly not much got done after Monday.
Right. That's what happens when you fall ill.
But I'm not gonna leave it on Monday just yet, because I have a little pile of stickies that I'd also created that before I got sick I was going to review. So I'm not gonna schedule today yet. I think I'm just gonna review the week, unless there's something that I know I need to schedule today, and I think pretty sure there is, because there's probably something on my calendar.
There is, and as a matter of fact, it's on both of our calendars. We have a meeting with a client.
So those I can just get on the schedule.
Right, and that's at 4 p.m. today for 1 hour. So I'm already wrote a sticky for it. Client meeting, 4 p.m., 1 hour. So I know how long it will take.
That was the meeting we ski.
Yes. And
scheduled
actually,
Friday.
my 1 hour is probably still an underestimate. We have 1 hour scheduled with the client, but you and I might talk
Yeah, it's
for up
probably
to 30
90 minutes
minutes,
at least.
right, afterwards. So I'm going to
Yeah,
make that 1.5 hours.
want to take a.
All right, so
And then we have a meeting after this one. Were we going to do that one? I think
either we
that needs.
do
I think that needs to move out.
that particular one was to work on our value cycle activity, and I
Yeah,
agree.
since I didn't do any work on that yet,
Right, you're right. You're
that's
not
going to
ready.
need to move to like Wednesday or something.
Yeah, yeah. So I'll move that for us.
I'm looking
And
at both our calendars, so you could. Oh, you know what I'm going to put on my chart because I'm trying to rehab myself.
mhm.
Is and because I'm trying to, I hadn't had to do this because I have another ritual going on in my life, or had.
Yeah.
That was solving this need, but that ritual now got broken last week. So I'm going to schedule spending 25 minutes to walk,
Yes.
which is
Yes.
half of what I was walking.
But you're getting it in, and this is what one of the things I started to do. I write exercise on a sticky. I made it in pink because this is a recurring task. It moves every day. I
Ah,
exercise every day. I do something, whether it's an hour-long walk, or I do weights in the basement, or I'm in our little weight room, or elliptical, something. But I just, for me, that was a color code, sticky, and that it moves to every day. And yes, after maybe 5 weeks of moving it from every day, the stickiness on the sticky fades, and I create a new one.
I
So,
know. I'm not sure
but that's
where
how I
that's going to
handle
be
them. That's how
today,
I
but I know
handle
that's
them.
going to be before the 4 o'clock meeting.
Good, good.
So I
Yep.
just dropped it up the page.
Yes. Excellent.
My
I have a
Tuesday.
couple of other things that are also recurring. And these are the kind of things like I'm waiting. These are like just in case. We have an Eventbrite happening, an Eventbrite event for our Agile Coach Retreat. That's this one. And I log any new purchases into a spreadsheet. So this just sort of sits floating near the end of my day, because it's only if this occurs that I do this
Interesting.
task. And I had the same one for another event that we've got going on, that I log them into our autoresponder.
So I got one thing I know I want to do today, which is to mail the Metaforum attendees the notes. They're all thinking I'm ignoring them. And I was left this morning thinking all of our repeating classes should have a response form and get response for getting the notes or anything we have for that class.
Yes, good idea.
Have you built one of those yet?
Yes,
Any of
I
your
have it for
classes
Agile
like
at
an
Home.
autoresponder just for the?
I have I have a get response form that, yes, people sign up to, and then it will send them out the slides from the Agile at Home event, a PDF of the slides, the PDF of the article, and a little sales blurb of the next possible option, which is actually my 8-week Agile at Home program. So yes, I do have a
You know,
little
what might be interesting to
autoresponder.
do, to put somewhere on our website, is a page that only we know, maybe like a2agile.com/forms. And on that page would be the links to all of the get the notes, not for that,
Yes,
not to ever give to anyone else. It's like when you
right,
and I are giving the class and we're like, oh, I just gave winning the Agile certification game. That
right.
form's going to be inside of get response, right? It's not inside of our
Yes,
system.
it's not inside of our
We
system,
need
right?
the link.
Yeah, yeah. And I've thought about that as well. One of the things I've struggled with on the all of the tool usage, right? So you run an event, you need a get response for signing up for the event, and I need a get response form for collecting their information to send them the copy of the slides, right? So there's a bunch of little things that
I feel like
kind of
I feel like
go
if we
together.
ever wanted to build our own from the ground up, what does it really mean to run a webinar?
Yes, and so I'm really looking at a way to document what that whole path looks like. You know, where the get response form is, where's the landing page, where's the autoresponder that we use, you know, and then what is there not a reminder autoresponder, and then another get response form and autoresponder for post event. So yes, it's like the whole thing, and it's this whole cycle. I could almost see, and
The
I'm
reason to do
talking
the
through
reason
that.
it's not handled well is because we're actually using the multiple tools
Yeah.
to draw in traffic. So the traffic is coming to us from at least 3 different sources,
Yes,
2 of
and that's
which
true.
don't get them into our original autoresponder.
Yeah,
Uh,
and
and
that's
then you don't know who actually attended, whom you want to actually send the notes to.
uh-huh, right, which is why I wind up with yet another form for it.
Yeah. I'm gonna put I'm like missing Tuesday. It's like apparently whenever I did this, Tuesday just
All
disappeared.
right. So just what we were talking about, Tom, is great. I wrote a sticky. I'm going to map out, at least for my Agile at Home series, the whole process. What's our landing page? What
We should
do
do
I
a
have as
little
a,
value stream map.
it's exactly that. It's a value stream map of how this whole thing maps out. Because I'm continually struggling when I set up a new one. What are all the things I need to change? And I run these every month, so I ought to know, I ought to have a clear map. And that's just part of what you were talking about. So I've created that sticky. I said it's going to take me about 40 minutes, and I'm moving it to tomorrow because I don't have to do it today, but I have it for tomorrow. That's the start of my planning for tomorrow. Which, by the way, even tomorrow's sheets has a whole bunch of things that were done last Tuesday. So I'm taking all of those stickies and recycling them. I'm going to do that for Wednesday as well, and for Thursday. We all had a bunch of stickies sitting there, and they're all just getting
I was
reviewed and
looking
recycled.
at a Kanban sort of concept, which was although in this system we're dealing with tasks because we're specifically trying to deal with the fact that you're working from home and you're being interrupted.
Yes.
That
Yep.
Kanban really wants you to organize around a value delivered. So we're
Right.
talking about color, and I'm just thinking it's like part of me almost wants a little sheet that I set up and I go, this is a bigger initiative I want to work on this week. And on it I put my dozen things.
Ooh, that's your sprint goal, isn't it?
And then yes.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is, and for each week, pick 1 or 2. What are the things that you can try all the way to value that you're going to deliver this week?
Right.
And then this is a little bit of Covey's, right? First things first. Then that gets, you commit to those, and maybe you have some other great ones that you also have a sheet on. I'm thinking of backlog management. I think that's where I'm failing on this.
And I have in the past, so right now we have just one big backlog sheet, which just like if yours is like mine, it's just cluttered with lots of things. I did at one point, Tom, when I had a lot of things that I was working on for my Agile at Home book, I created a separate backlog sheet for the Agile at Home book. And I put everything on there. And when I did my weekly planning, I'd pull some from there and pull some from my general backlog as well. I don't want too many backlogs, but I like your idea of.
I don't even think it's like a backlog, because you could ultimately even take, it's I don't know that I want to do too much of this. I want to do it for stuff that I really want to get done this week.
Yes, right.
But it's
Or
recognizing that until you finish something, you didn't actually accomplish anything.
that's right. And if you've broken a task up into multiple small pieces that you're scheduling over multiple days, right? Inherently, you're saying that I need to get that done this week. But if for some reason any one of those don't get completed, you're not meeting your weekly goal, right? Your intended goal of getting everything done. So what's another way to keep that weekly, and we'll use the term sprint goal, highlighted so that you know that's something you're working on. So we use this outstanding, items outstanding moniker or tool for things that I'm waiting for. Is there a do we want to try a colored sticky, another, something that you would use and move to every day on your planning sheets? So it's a reminder of like, here's my weekly goal. My weekly goal this week is to, and just write it on there. Complete the first chapter of a book, or in your case, what is it that you would like to see as your weekly goal? And maybe it's to
I like
schedule
that at the top of that note or something.
Mm-hmm.
That could be a really interesting addition.
So let me rewrite that. Let me try it. So instead of just outstanding items, I'm going to turn it into weekly goal. So that means every week I'm going to be rewriting this. What's my weekly goal? And then what are my outstanding items?
Which is a nice thing because it forces you to reroute what's outstanding from the last week.
Yes.
This is my new Pedialyte drink.
Oh, man.
Yum, yum. I feel.
Yum, yum.
All it needs is a little shot of whiskey and it'd actually be okay.
Now you're really talking. So there's what I envision it to look like. So I don't have a weekly goal yet. Let me think about that, what mine is. I know what my outstanding on, but do you have a weekly goal? I might say,
I'm pretty sure I had one last week that I've totally lost, but I'm pretty sure it was about getting this new thing described.
Yes, our value cycle.
I'm going to make it more specific though. Value cycle offer running. Like it's actually
so I'm going to put that on as well, because that's something the two of us are working on together. And as a pair, as a partner group, if both of us don't have that as our same weekly goal, we will fail.
Yeah, it's probably a bad idea.
Bad idea not to have it as the same goal.
I didn't realize, but I should be addressing your husband as doctor when I see him, shouldn't I? Yes, hello, doctor. Dr. and Mrs.
It is not, he would actually prefer Herr Dr. Professor.
Dr. Professor.
Herr Dr. Professor. And now we can add emeritus to it. So we can make that a very long,
really petty article, and it was criticizing someone for using the title doctor.
Oh,
they weren't a medical doctor, and I'm like, man, if they pass the curriculum, I don't even care if it was mail order. They get the title. That's the way the game works.
They earned it. That's right. And we do when his students have passed their thesis and passed their presentation and have actually achieved their doctorate. Every celebration we have, the first thing we say is, and yes, congratulations, Dr. Smith, Dr. Valerie. We're giving them that first reference because they earned it.
And I'm like,
All right.
But you
So,
realize that's also a culture that people who maybe don't understand the culture just think it's weird. You have a doctorate in education and you're calling yourself doctor. Don't you think that's wrong? And I'm like, no,
not at all.
I think that's how the game's played.
All right. So my day has improved a bit. We had a task to do the value cycle review. You're suggesting to move it to Wednesday.
Yeah, then I can
I
actually
can move it
schedule
to,
some.
if it's okay with you, I'm going to do like 2:30 on Wednesday.
Yep.
Because you see my calendar, I've got something from 1 to 2. It may or may not show up on my calendar for you, but I have a personal event. So let me make this 2:30. I'm moving it right now. I know this is part of a planning session and I'm already doing we're doing action items, but sometimes that happens. Sometimes that's quicker. Sometimes it's quicker, but here I am multitasking. I didn't get the date right. Let's get that date set. Yep, now it's moved on the calendar. So I love working sessions where you actually get work done, right? So our planning session, we are working on our weekly plan and working out today's schedule. And on quick little items like this, where we're rearranging things, we're doing it right in the session. So we're actually getting things done, which makes the value of any event that you schedule more valuable, right? That if you can actually get work done, you're more likely to keep the process going, right? So make sure that these sessions, these ceremonies that you're running are of value to you, that you complete some work, and that you can see the value of running them, over and over again. All right, so Tom, do you have anything else then on your schedule that's part of your weekly planning?
No, I'm still, my pile got clearly all messed up last week, so I'm still pruning from prior weeks.
It takes a while.
Probably will need to work just because probably will need to work for like an hour maybe to get this in the shape it needs to be in before I'm even ready to begin the week. And I have no problem with that. That's not that much planning for a week's worth of work.
And for having been behind where you didn't do any last week. So really it's kind of your 2 30-minute sessions where you might have done 30 minutes a week that are being lumped together.
What I'm noticing is I probably need to get more paper. I think when you're coming into a crisis of notes and piles of stuff, and because I'll often take a note and just write it on a note and stick it somewhere, knowing that I'm going to plan for it on my planning day.
Yeah.
And then I didn't do that. I got like piles of little sticky notes. I'm really liking the idea. I think I might go grab a couple sheets of paper right now.
Yeah, and just
to say this is for this topic, or what this is for this week. This is for a weekly goal.
Yeah,
a goal that I see. Right, I'm going to have because I can see it sort of in the history of how I thought about certain things I was going to accomplish for the ceremony book, and now I'm looking at the rest of the year and what we're trying to finish, and I might not get back to that till next year.
Yeah, I mean it's
but
December 14th.
I kind of like that little set of sticky notes that are ready to go when I want to kick back up the goal of interviewing some people to get their personal ceremonies.
Yeah.
It's really maybe that's really a way to think about it too. It's a goal oriented. Any of those backup sheets would be around goals. From them, I could pull a bigger goal. We saw that in the 12-week year. It's like have your 12-week goal and then have your weekly goals, right? And just 2 or 3 that you heavily prioritize your energy into.
Right. Where are they fitting in, right? And as you're looking at the bigger picture. Yep. And having that, again, there's some real value of having that at the top of your page, right? Again, my weekly goal at the top of my Monday planning session now is right there and reminding me every day, that's what we're trying to get done this week. Even though I've got all the tasks broken down into smaller bits and I've got them scattered across the week, it's really nice having that one goal reminder there.
I'm
So
thinking
great.
of
So I'm going to let you go and get your other sheets, because I know you need another 30 minutes to plan. But I'm going to stop the recording here, because I think this was a good first session to walk people through a weekly planning session and what it's been like
normally
for
work
us.
better because I wouldn't normally be in such a mess. So we'll see how the next week's goes.
We'll see how next week's goes. It may be a little better, but we'll terminate weekly planning session recording at this moment. Thanks, everyone.